Okay, I'm calling the Land Stewardship Subcommittee meeting, February 12th, 8:30 a.m., calling the meeting to order. The second thing after calling the meeting to order, to approve the meeting minutes. Do we have anyone online?
No.
Okay, all right. So I guess we should introduce ourselves since we have guests, so we will introduce ourselves. We'll start.
I'm Marty Gorham, member at large.
Mirta Janos from Parks and Rec.
Gail Carey, member at large.
Ann Welsh, member at large and chair.
Neil Slepian, Conservation Commission.
Rachel Gazowski from Parks and Rec.
Rich Rain, Public Works Director.
Veronique Luddington, Land Stewardship Coordinator.
And we should also mention that Neil today will be taking the place of John naturally. Sorry, John. Because he's not here, so he is the alternate for the Conservation Commission and will be voting today for the Conservation Commission. All right, so the next thing we're doing is to approve the meeting agenda. Does anyone have any changes to the meeting agenda they would like?
I just wanted to mention one thing, and Mirta, sorry, I printed this late, so yesterday, and
Okay.
didn't notice it, but with the number 6, the impact of Parks and Rec nature walks, is that the Discover Durham's trails that were?
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that to our general discussion, just because the numbers are, the concerns that you had, I wanted to bring the concerns, but
Sure.
now you can.
I didn't know if we wanted to just make sure that we were titling that correct, Discover Durham's trails versus the nature walks, and also
Okay.
include conservation, since it's a partnership program. Conservation Commission.
Okay, Discover Durham's Trails.
Ted Howard is joining us on Zoom.
Okay. Approve the meeting agenda. We'll take a vote. First,
Make a motion to
Yes.
approve.
second?
I will second.
Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, passes. All right. And we have, Carol, you want to introduce yourself? We have a couple guests.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Singer, and I represent the Historic District Commission, Heritage Commission.
Okay. So our next job is to approve the January meeting minutes. I do have one change that Veronique noticed. In the minutes, they give Veronique credit for checking on the mowing at Thompson Forest. That was me.
It's in paragraph 6.
What item?
Oh,
6?
no,
No, it's trail marking.
5.
5.
Sorry. The last little sentence in paragraph 5.
Oh.
Okay. Any other changes or corrections?
I had a question.
Uh-huh.
On the second page, under the estimate costs for the scope of work, the water bars were 1,200 to 1,200. Is that correct? There's no range. It was just 1,200. Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Any other changes, corrections? Okay, so I'll ask for a motion for approving the meeting minutes as corrected. I need a
I
I can't make
move
the
to
motion.
accept the meeting minutes as corrected.
Okay, second.
I will second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, we'll take a vote now. All in favor? Okay. No, there's nobody else to vote? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even check online. I guess, so now that we do have someone online, we're supposed to do it by voice vote. So,
Marty.
Marty,
Yes.
one of those days. Mirta,
Yes.
Yes.
Carolyn Singer, yes.
Ann Welsh, yes.
Yes, Neil Slepian.
Online?
10 times.
Ted, are you voting yes?
I'm sure you can hear us.
Can he hear us?
Ted's eye is
Can you-
bothering him.
Can you hear us, Ted? Oh, we can't hear you.
Good morning.
Okay, we were just voting on the meeting minutes with one question and one change. Are you voting yes on the meeting minutes?
Since I haven't heard any of the discussion, I will abstain.
Okay, then one abstention. All right. Now, we're going to move on to town policies on invasive plant control. This topic started because I got a question from Beryl, who is the board? No, president of the board at Fitz Farm. At least, as I understand it, there's different boards at Fitz Farm, or is it just one? There's just one? Okay. She was wondering about our policies on invasives and had some questions for us. And I said, well, we don't have a set of policies. We sort of do things piecemeal, so I thought I would let her come and ask some questions, and we would have a discussion of what we do it on the town on invasives. And we do have the one set of procedures we have would be from the Public Works for what they do on properties, and, we can discuss that. But we've used a couple of major efforts to work on invasives, and then we also just sort of do it spot in different properties. So if you'd like to start us off with what your questions are, you guys could come and sit up here and join us. So we're fairly informal. And then people can hear your questions because you can speak into the mic.
Am I on a mic?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for having us. This is great. So Vin and I live at Fitz Farm, and the configuration in our neighborhood is a bunch of condominiums around a meadow wetlands area. And so over the years, we've had different approaches to managing that area. But right now, we have an intent of trying to hold back or keep down the invasive plant species. And you can chime in anytime here, Vin, but we're wondering long-term if this is the best way to manage that small little contained area. It costs a lot of money to hire people to come and reduce. They will never eliminate permanently, but temporarily and kind of consistently reduce the invasive species, which is a noble goal. But if all the lands around us in the town of Durham are not being managed in the same way, then we are beginning to wonder long-term if this is the wisest way to go about managing our wetlands. So it's not that we're trying to figure out what the town should do, it's like we're trying to figure out what we should do.
Yeah.
So anything that you have, any information that you have, or any opinions that you have would be very helpful for us. You want to say anything else, Vin?
Oh, just that maybe for the last 12 or 13 years, we've had a program in place, different types of programs. I mean, we've done, when we were much younger, about 13 or 14 years younger, we actually went out and pulled purple loosestrife, bagged it, took it to the dump and burned it. So we're a little too old for that now, I think. But and then about 2 years after that, my wife got a grant from NRCS, I think it was, and they came and they pulled some invasives. They did spray some, but then more importantly, they came back and planted 3,000 native plants in the wetlands. So Beryl hasn't been here as long as I have, but if you go back to that 13 years, there was more purple loosestrife out there initially than one could imagine. And then I'm starting to see it come back now, and if we don't do anything it'll pretty much be a purple loosestrife field in 3 or 4 more years. So I think that's where we're at. We've also eliminated a lot of others, particularly up at the far end of our development, where there were a lot of, what do I want to say? There was, what's the
It was
vine?
buckthorn.
Yeah, but the-
Yep.
the,
And there was some olive, what's the?
Autumn olive?
We had the autumn olive, whatever the invasive olive is, we had that.
A lot of
So-
bittersweet.
Yeah, and
That's-
bittersweet,
That was the
yep.
one that really was affecting the trees up at the far end of our development. So we've made a lot of progress, but now it's, how do you do the maintenance? What makes sense? It's also not been easy to find people to come and spray. So actually, I just got in touch with Rachel Maccini, who's the person who trains the people and certifies them to be able to go spray. So we got a new list because the people we had been using have disappeared. Either they retired or we don't know. But so finding them has been also very difficult.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So what's been done since that time?
Oh, it's ongoing.
Every year we've done
Every
some
year.
maintenance.
Oh, every year.
We pay people to come and spray.
So we've
Okay.
spent, what, about $1,500, $2,000 a year?
Yeah, it used to be $1,000 a year, and we're like, okay. And then it got up to like $2,000 a year. Oh, so then last year, or 2 years ago, we decided to try doing it every other year to see if we could be as effective but not pay quite so much. And the last estimate we got was $3,000. So, as the training gets more complicated and the applications and everything, it's a more expensive proposition. Yeah, but we have been maintaining this very nicely. It's a fantastic place, actually. And
What's the acreage in there?
3 or 4 acres.
I'm guessing, I think it's 5.
Okay.
About 5. It's not big.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
And-
through there, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's very pretty. We have all kinds of wildlife and all kinds of birds. So everybody loves this meadow wetlands area in our neighborhood.
And I should also comment that there's another condominium association on the other side of the wetlands, and they have contributed as well. So it's not
Okay.
just Fitz Farm.
So Rich, we're kind of interested in how Durham handles its pockets of meadows and wetlands and open space in terms of the invasive species.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I think what you pointed out, that there's areas that you have the invasives on private property, but then you also have it on public property. We have pesticide applicators that are licensed through the state. We have a permit, and many times we're dealing with Japanese knotweed that right behind it is private property, and we are considered not for hire applicators. That's our licensing and our permit. So we try to work with the private entity to also get a bigger return on the investment, to basically manage both the public and private property. So I commend you for wanting to do that, because a lot of people kind of let it go, and then it's really difficult to manage the section on the public property if the private entity isn't also involved in it. I have a couple slides. I don't know, Craig, can you give me a share on the screen so I can bring this up and there we go. So this slide right here just kind of shows you the location of our public right-of-way vegetation management program, and I'm not sure if anyone's aware of that or has seen that before, but this is where you can go to the on the right-hand side, you see the public right-of-way vegetation management program, that tab, click on that, and that's standard operating procedure. And several years ago, probably about